In the world of solo leveling, Jin-Woo's incredible power is largely attributed to his legendary weapon, the Rasaka's Fang. After an epic battle against the Swamp Ruler, Jin-Woo not only levels up but also scores two game-changing rewards. First up, a bag of Rasaka's Venom, an A-class item that grants him the snake's heart and scales in exchange for a temporary strength debuff. Second is the Rasaka's Fang. This seemingly innocuous knife holds a secret that sets it apart from any other weapon in the story. When compared to Mr. Kim's sword, worth a staggering 3 million won, the Rasaka's Fang boasts nearly double the stats and two incredibly overpowered effects, paralysis and bleed. While paralysis alone would be a game changer for any C-rank hunter, the bleed effect is what truly sets this weapon apart, causing the victim to lose 1% of their HP every second, a guaranteed death sentence within a dungeon. He left Hell's Gate alone for another time. On his way to the guild, he bumped into Mr. Song. He was shocked by how quickly Jin-Woo changed so much, becoming stronger in such a short time, even hiding his regenerative abilities to one-arm Mr. Song. Mr. Song informed Jin about his new mission, including Juhi, but things get awkward when another survivor hints at their troubled past. Suddenly, a van full of convicts insults them. The situation chills when they learn they'll be forced to raid a dungeon alongside these prisoners. A hunter is supposed to watch over them, but Jin-Woo feels uneasy and warns Juhi to drop out of the raid. She stubbornly refuses. Mr. Song, feeling guilty for his past mistakes that led to deaths, is made the leader. It seems everyone has become stronger since the last raid, especially Jin-Woo. Juhi doesn't have to heal him as often anymore, but Mr. Song notices she hasn't changed the way Jin-Woo has. Trouble hits when the dungeon splits into 3 paths. Jin-Woo gets a bad feeling and sends Mr. Song down one route. It's a decision he'll soon regret, as screams echo through the dungeon. Turns out the hunter assigned to watch them is killing off the convicts. Jin-Woo knew something bad was going to happen. Tragedy strikes as Mr. Song's team runs for their lives, but the killer hunter surprises them. Jin-Woo blocks an attack, shocked by the hunter's brutal tactics. Sadly, it's too late for a member of Mr. Song's team. Fueled by grief and anger, Mr. Song vows revenge, aided by Juhi's healing powers. It's an intense battle, with weapons clashing at lightning speed. The killer hunter underestimates their power and soon realizes Juhi's healing is a major problem. He switches targets, and Mr. Song bravely intercepts the attack. This fight just got a whole lot harder. The hunter goes all out, landing multiple blows, and then unleashes a burst of magical energy. Did Mr. Song defeat him?
Jin-Woo's emergency quest system designates Kang as a target. The intensity of their clash escalates. Jin-Woo employs his dash skill, boosting his speed by 30%, allowing him to outmaneuver Kang effortlessly. Jin-Woo's bleed and paralysis weapon skills catch Kang off guard. Despite Kang's attempt to use stealth to gain an advantage, Jin-Woo's prowess allows him to anticipate and counter the attack. However, Kang's cunning maneuver results in Jin-Woo sustaining a critical injury, forcing him to kneel. Just when it seems Kang has the upper hand, Jin-Woo astounds everyone by fully healing himself with to peak condition. Jin-Woo's prowess shines as he counters one of Kang's attacks, leading to Kang realizing Jin is just like him and has taken a human life before. This causes Kang to unleash his full power and speed. However, Jin-Woo effortlessly blocks his attacks with a single hand, compelling Kang into a reckless head-on assault. This was clearly a bad idea, as Jin-Woo activates his bloodlust ability, sending a shock wave of fear directly into Kang's heart, inducing hallucinations of a dark world dominated by Jin-Woo's presence. In a moment of vulnerability, Kang witnesses Jin-Woo's dagger pierce his heart, its effects beginning to take hold. Questioning Jin-Woo's identity, Kang concedes defeat. However, Jin-Woo replies that he doesn't really know what he is anymore, and maybe everyone else's way of classifying hunters doesn't really apply to him.
The strength of the formidable knight clad in blood-red armor, Igris, the soldier of death. His unwavering loyalty and incredible strength make him a force to be reckoned with, even when defending an empty throne. When Jin-Woo first encountered Igris in the boss room of the Job Change Quest dungeon, he quickly realized the knight's true power. Igris unleashed a relentless assault, pushing Jin-Woo to his limits and tossing him around like a mere plaything. It became clear that Igris was no ordinary foe. After Sung Jin-Woo extracts Igris's shadow, the knight becomes one of his most capable summons throughout the series. After gaining the Demon King's sword from Jin-Woo, Igris unleashes a devastating storm of lightning, making him an unstoppable force on the battlefield. His mastery over this legendary weapon, combined with his innate ability to summon awe-inspiring energy waves from his own lightning sword, solidifies his position as Jin-Woo's most formidable summon.
He successfully managed to extract the shadow of the Red Commander Igris. Blood-red Igris Jin-Woo called out, but shivered in how cringy it sounded, so he decided to just call him Igris, as he and the rest of the shadows kneeled towards him. "Take good care of me," Jin-Woo said to them. Outside of the gate, Jin-Woo steps outside, staring into the bright sun, after being stuck inside the gate for hours. Back at his apartment, Drip-Woo's phone rings, waking him up from his deep sleep. "Hello?" Jin-Woo said while still half asleep. His sister yells, asking if he's really still sleeping. Jin-Woo responds, saying he was because he's tired. "Do you know what time it is?" she shouts. "The time? 2 o'clock. "What?" Gina asks him if he remembers that he's coming to school today. Jin-Woo, with a serious face, asks, "When do I have to be there?" "At 5. Jin-Woo rushes towards the bathroom, saying that he won't be late. Gina tells him to call her when he's close by. After taking a shower, Drip-Woo stares at his shirt, saying how he can't just wear anything since he has to meet her homeroom teacher after all. At the bank, Jin-Woo tells the clerk that he would like to make a debit card and manage his account. The clerk is surprised at the bank statement she sees in front of her. Drippy-Woo had 1.4 billion Korean won, which is like 1 million USD at such a young age. The nosy clerk asks Jin-Woo what he did for a living, and he responds saying he's a hunter. The clerk understood, thinking how she had heard that hunters make really good money, so he must be a pretty high-ranking hunter. The clerk tells Jin-Woo how their bank just released a new product for VIP customers and asks him if he'd be interested, but he declines, saying he's fine. At Gina's school, Are you really Sung Papa Woo?" she asked with a surprised expression. With the drippiest fit and a fresh cut, Jin-Woo asks, "What? Do I look weird?" Drip-Woo asked. Surprised by his drippiness, she asked how a person could change that much. Drip-Woo responded, saying that since he's meeting her teacher, should he have worn sweatpants and slippers instead. The entire school starts gawking at Drip-Woo, gossiping about how handsome he was.
"Damn, you're really popular,"
Gina said. She asked if he had a girlfriend, saying that she could introduce him to a cute schoolgirl. She trying to make bro catch a case. Riz-Woo pulls her cheeks, telling her to stop fooling around. I'm sorry!" she shouted. Inside the conference room, Jin-Woo entered to talk to the teacher. She introduced herself as Gina's homeroom teacher, saying she didn't know she had such a dashing older brother. Bro already rizzing up the teachers. Jin-Woo thought to himself that he graduated from this school, but had never met this teacher before. The teacher praised Gina, saying how he didn't need to worry about her since she's a good girl with good grades. Jin-Woo agrees with her assessment. The teacher asks if he's aware that she wants to go to medical school. Since she did well on the mock exam and has good grades, she would definitely make it in. The teacher says how she's heard that he's a hunter and asks, "If Gina awakens, will you make her become a hunter?" Within the fraction of a second, he responds with a serious face, saying, "No." The teacher takes a sigh of relief, saying that she only asked because there was a student recently who is trying to drop out after awakening, saying that they are not attending school anymore. "Don't you think that even if one becomes a hunter, it's nice to at least have a diploma?" she asked. "What rank did the student receive?" The teacher responded, saying that she had received the lowest rank, meaning E rank. Sooner or later, the student will probably die, Jin-Woo thought to himself. The teacher asks if he could do her a favor, that since she's Gina's friend, would he try to convince the student to at least graduate high school. "Gina's friend?" he asked. The teacher confirmed, saying her name is Han Song-yi, which was the girl he raided with last time. In the afternoon, Song-yi can be seen walking outside. "It's a small world after all," Jin-Woo said. "So it was you." "Why are you here, mister?" she asked, recognizing him. After taking on his first student, Jin-Woo ventures into a C-rank dungeon with the White Tiger Guild to learn how to better teach Han Song. However, things take a terrifying turn when the gate shifts from blue to red upon Jin-Woo's entry, signaling a red gate dungeon. As Jin-Woo urgently calls for backup, Mr. Sang-min recognizes the severity of the situation and calls upon the leader of the White Tiger Guild, Mr. Baek Yoon-ho. Meanwhile, tensions rise as Hwang's brother arrives in Korea with intentions to harm Jin-Woo. Amidst these converging events, Jin-Woo finds himself trapped in a mysterious dungeon facing unknown dangers. After Jin-Woo and the White Tiger Guild find themselves trapped in a red gate dungeon, A-rank hunter Kim Chul takes the lead and creates a separate team to clear the dungeon, even offering to do it alone if no one will help. He forms a team comprised of the 8 strongest hunters, while he pushes out anyone lower than B rank, telling them they're dead weight, and their best bet is to build a camp and try to survive until they get back. As Kim Chul begins to head out, one of the women on his team decides to switch teams because back when they first arrived in the dungeon, he wasn't capable of noticing the arrows from the ice elves. So they split up, Kim Chul's group taking the path and Jin-Woo's entering the forest as the cold dungeon raid continues. On a freezing day, Kim Chul faces off against a bunch of ice bears. Jin-Woo and the others calmly walk through the forest looking for a place to camp. However, he is warned to find another area because it is obvious they are in ice bear territory. Jin-Woo responds that it is easier to deal with the ice bears and they'll keep all of the other predators away. But it's at that moment he notices everyone is cold, so he reaches in his inventory and gives everyone coats to keep them warm and cozy, impressing them with what they call spatial magic. Jin-Woo promises to keep everyone safe as long as they don't ask questions and keep their mouth shut about his powers. At that moment, they are attacked by an ice bear, and Jin-Woo, in front of everyone, takes it out with a single punch as they cook it up for a nice meal. Later that night, after eating, Jin-Woo goes out to finish his daily quest, since everyone will die if he gets sent to Penalty Land. However, when that's done, he goes hunting, and that's when he comes across a cave full of ice bears, and for the first time, he summons his shadow army, giving them one command: go. And a fierce battle takes place as soldiers are ripped apart and bears are slashed. However, the soldiers are seemingly immortal because of their rapid regeneration from Jin-Woo's mana pool. This becomes an issue when the leader of the ice bears appears, a giant bear with a mohawk and an X scar on its chest. In response, Jin-Woo sends Igris to handle it since it's clearly stronger than everything else in his army. Igris dashes forward, slashing its joints and tendons in all of its arms and legs, leaving it practically helpless. The ice bear makes one final move, roaring in frustration, before Igris slashes its head off, presenting it to Jin-Woo, who recognizes Igris would have low-diffed him back then if he had used his sword. Then Jin-Woo puts his hand on the ice bear and says the words, "Arise," summoning a giant black and blue beast of a bear, giving it the name Tank, and taking the time to summon all of the shadows of the other ice bears, giving Jin-Woo a new beast type at his disposal. A-rank hunter Kim Chul faces devastation when his party encounters a group of ice orcs as their brutal battle leaves his armor almost completely shattered and his comrades mercilessly torn apart by the ferocious creatures. As the cries of his men echo while being eaten by the enemy, Kim Chul stands frozen, consumed by the thoughts of how badly he has failed and how it wouldn't have happened if he just wasn't so hungry. In that moment, before his eyes, his last comrade falls to a blade from the back of the head as the ice elves finally reach the battlefield. Kim Chul flees hopefully back to camp when he spots a pack of ice elves led by an imposing figure atop a large all-white horse. Yet even this pales in comparison to the bewildering sight that awaits Kim Chul at camp when instead of death and despair, he discovers his fellow hunters safe, cozy, and enjoying a nice meal. After making it back to camp, Kim Chul screams at everyone for hiding food and supplies and threatens the camp into telling him what's going on. But Jin-Woo smacks him in the back of the head, telling him he left them all to die and came back with dead weight as the ice elves have followed Kim back by hiding their presence. In this moment, Jin-Woo spots the elf riding a horse and can instantly tell that he's the boss of the dungeon. However, what he doesn't expect is to have a conversation, as this elf says he's the only useful one among the trash, but he's surprised that Jin-Woo answers since somehow they are speaking the same language. The king points out one of his followers as the elf who told him Jin-Woo might be strong since Jin-Woo managed to catch his arrow. He tells Jin-Woo the elf wanted a chance to face off with him. However, before he could even finish his sentence, the head of the elf he's speaking about disappears as they turn around and see Jin-Woo questioning if he has anything left to say. The elf king smiles and calls Jin-Woo amusing as a new battle begins. Elf king calls Jin-Woo amusing after watching him blitz one of his elves, when suddenly Jin attacks the elf on the horse only to get easily parried, thinking this fight won't be easy. The boss gets off his horse and tells Jin-Woo that they hear voices in their head telling them to kill humans, but he doesn't hear it for Jin-Woo, so he doesn't have to die as long as he gives up the hunter party. As Jin-Woo asks for more information, the elf glitches out and repeats the deal again, but Jin declines, leaving the boss wondering how he could possibly defeat him since they're outnumbered. Jin-Woo mocks him as his shadow army rises from the ground all throughout the camp, and a war between the ice elves and Jin's army breaks out. This is when Jin realizes he needs another powerful shadow if he plans on winning this fight, looking towards Kim Chul as the king of the elves introduces himself as Baruka, setting the stage for the battle to come. As Jin-Woo starts to do battle with the ice elf Baruka, he realizes that his current shadow army lacks the strength for the battle ahead, and he'll need a more powerful shadow as he looks towards A-rank hunter Kim Chul, who he just knocked out. Jin-Woo attacks Baruka, who easily dodges his attack and sends him flying with a knee to the stomach. Baruka tells Jin-Woo that it's been a while since he's had this much fun when, in a flash, Jin's shadow mages cast a giant fireball that lands right on the elf as Kim Chul wakes up furious and remembers Jin-Woo's voice being the last thing he heard. Jin-Woo tells Baruka to stop wasting time and come out, but as the elf rushes towards Jin and tries to kill him behind him, Kim tries to do the same, causing Igris to defend Jin-Woo, stabbing Kim right through the chest, killing him. At this moment, Jin-Woo says the word arise, and from Kim Chul's body comes a massive armored knight with a shield and warhammer as the battle continues. After Baruka breaks free from Iron's grips, he screams before feeling a dagger in his side as he realizes Jin-Woo was invisible. With a defiant grasp on Jin-Woo's wrist, he refuses defeat, but Iron appears delivering a thunderous blow with his warhammer, nearly flattening the elf. Jin-Woo confirming the Elf King's defeat through the system, as he is relieved to have survived the close call. Out of nowhere, Iron hits Baruka again with his hammer, causing Jin-Woo to call him dense, even as a shadow, and telling him to cut it out, while Igris sighs in disappointment, but two other shadows cheer for the Iron Giant. It's here where the return gate opens, and everyone prepares to head back home, celebrating that they can finally leave. But Jin-Woo has some unfinished business, as he walks up to Baruka and says the word arise. However, Jin-Woo fails to capture Baruka's shadow all 3 times, marking the first time he's unable to capture a boss. Frustration brews within him as he prepares to confront the awaiting S ranks outside.
Subscribe for more.